It's JAG-K with the KBA Month in April, and today on Coffee with Chuck, we're excited to have two guests. One is Rayanna Breshears. Rayanna is with the Kansas Bankers Association. She's the Marketing and Strategic Partnerships Coordinator. And we have Chris Wente from Golden Belt Bank in Hayes. He's the president and CEO. And today we're going to talk about all things banking. Well, thank you, Rayanna and Chris, for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Chuck to talk about JAG-K with the KBA. We're really excited about our partnership with the KBA and introducing banking careers to our students. And there are a number of opportunities within that industry, as obviously you both know. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but I really just wanted to start this morning by asking each of you about your career paths and how you got where you are right now. Rayanna, we'll start with you. As I mentioned in the intro, you're the Marketing and Strategic Partnerships Coordinator for the KBA. Tell us a little bit about what you do in that job and how you got there.
I'll start with kind of how I got there. So I graduated from K-State last May, so I've been almost graduated for a year now. But I did an internship through KBA my last semester just to kind of get some internship credits for school and stuff. And they actually ended up hiring me on full time. So I started full time with them in May. So I've been with KBA for almost a year now. I've absolutely loved it. It's been such a great work environment. Let's see here. So some of the tasks that I get to help with, I help direct the Robbins Banking Institute. So I get to help with social media and help run the advisory council meetings and just help with student recruitment and connect students with bankers. So it's kind of like the RBI side of my job. And then my job's kind of changing a little bit at the moment. So I'm going to be helping with some of the more KBA programs, the Block, which is Bank Leaders of Kansas. I'll be helping out more with that. And then I've been kind of helping Bree with JAG-K during the month of April that we host for KBA. And then I also be helping out more with our YBOC, which is Young Bank Officers of Kansas. So I kind of get more involved in that. So my role is kind of changing a little bit more right now, but I'm super excited for it. And then just kind of a more general, I help with all of our marketing materials and stuff like that. I help with our our e-source, which is just kind of like a daily news for bankers, and then our constant content or a compliance corner, which goes out to people in the compliance field of banking. So kind of just a brief overview of what I get to help with daily.
Great. Well, you're at the start of your career, and Chris, you've been doing this for a while. You're both involved with the RBI, and we're going to talk about the Robbins Banking Institute a little bit more later in the podcast. But Chris, you are president and CEO of Golden Belt Bank, and it's a family owned. It's always been a family owned institution. So tell us about the history of the bank and your role in that history and what you do, how you started, and what you do as president and CEO.
Sure. I've got a little bit of a different way that I came into banking. So I'll tell you start with a little bit about the bank. Golden Belt was founded, it was as a savings and loan in Ellis, Kansas back in 1920 by the Nicholson family. Went along as small savings and loan dedicated to, it was kind of started to help people, home ownership, people in the community to get home ownership. In 1972, a group of local investors from Hayes and Ellis purchased it from the Nicholson family. Later that year, my dad started as a loan officer and trainee. Within about 6 months to a year, the current CEO resigned and kind of left the community, and he was given the opportunity to take over the bank at that time. It was a little small institution, and served there until 2017. So had a great career in banking, and I didn't ever see myself getting into banking. I went to K-State, got an industrial engineering degree. Actually started my first job was at Payless Shoe Source in Topeka out of college. Worked there for about 7 years. Had young kids and an opportunity. I wanted to get more involved in my community, wanted an opportunity for my kids to grow up at home, and banking gave me that opportunity. So I moved back to Hayes and started as a loan officer, working through that. Really enjoyed it. Had an opportunity to get involved in the community, different organizations. But banking also, I'd done a lot of management when I was, even though I had an engineering degree, had a lot of background in management. So I had an opportunity. I did lending for about 10 years. And then when my dad retired in 2017, I had the opportunity to take over as president and CEO. It's been a great opportunity to help others, be involved in your community. That's as a small community bank, that's what we do. We get a wonderful opportunity, whether it be to see somebody, purchase their first car at the age of 16 or whatnot, to buying their dream home, to helping start the business of their dreams. I say what a great rewarding industry to help people achieve the goals that they want to get to. And so it's been great for me. And now I get the opportunity to give back to the industry a little bit and serving on the Robbins Banking Institute board, as well as helping out with the KBA and being involved in the things that they do from time to time.
I think that's an important part of what banks do, is the community involvement, the community reinvestment, if you will. And a lot of people don't understand that. Now, hopefully they have a relationship. I think banking has changed, and you two would know better than I, but I got my first 4-H loan from a bank at the age of 7, for livestock. And we had a relationship with our banker. But now with online banking, I don't know if that is as prevalent. But with Chris, for example, with your bank, my guess is you've had generational customers, families that have had relationships with the bank for a long time. Is that the case? But have you seen it also change to less personal and more transactional relationships?
We've seen the whole gamut. That's the neat. I guess in banking today, we're trying to serve and meet people where they want to meet at. We still have a ton of people that want to come into our lobby and meet with somebody. Our drive-through is busy with businesses dropping off and picking up cash all the time, but we do have that option of online banking. We've got people that may purchase a home and do it all through transaction today electronically, and don't even have to come into the bank from that standpoint. You're going to have to sign papers and stuff at some point in time, but it may never even have to come to the bank. So we serve all generations and want to do that and find a way to meet you where you want to be at from that standpoint. But it is I do say it is a relationship thing, because if robots could do lending and stuff, then there wouldn't be need for loan officers, right? But every case is different, and you've got to find different ways and how can we help that individual need, to whatever that may be, whether that may be just simply buying a home, to starting a business, or a business that's maybe having some issues, and how do you work through that and help them find a new path and different way to make their business succeed.
There are a number of opportunities. I think a lot of people see the bank and they see the I don't even know if you call them tellers anymore, but maybe customer service representative, or the person who's there when you walk in and you want to deposit money or talk about a loan or whatever. But there are a lot of other people behind the scenes doing other work within the banking industry. So if I'm a young person in high school and I'm not sure what banking is or what opportunities are involved with banking, certainly JAG-K with the KBA, that program we hope will help with that career exploration. But what are some of the maybe entry level opportunities within banking? And then I want to talk about the RBI and that training program at Fort Hays State. So what would you say to a young person who may be interested in banking? What should they look at? What should they try to do to get their foot in the door?
Well, that's often a misconception, that to work at a bank, you've got to be either a loan officer or a teller from that standpoint. And it's often, as I told the story of myself, I don't have a degree in finance or banking or econ from that standpoint. So you don't have to specialize in that. We need all types. You've got to have this willingness to, you want to be involved in your community and love to work with people and help people. That's really what it takes to get into banking. But we're a full business. So we need people, whether it be HR associates, marketing associates, IT people, accounting, data entry and analytics, as well as loan officers. And we do still call them tellers or customer service people. And, we do a lot everything's changing to a digital age. a lot more people in the back office that make that stuff happen. Just because you think it happens electronically, there's still people in the back office that have to help out and support those things. Fraud detection and stuff. Unfortunately today that is a big thing. We spend a lot of time of protecting our customers or trying to educate them on fraud and what's going on from that standpoint.
Rayanna, tell us about the Robbins Banking Institute at Fort Hays State. Tell us about the program and what the goal is.
So I'll kind of start with kind of what you can get at the program. So you can do a BBA in finance with a concentration in banking, which I just kind of working with some of the students that a lot of them have taken that route. So, and then you can also do a minor in banking. So maybe you're like an ag major or something like that. It complements ag very, very well. You can also get a certificate in banking, which is 12 credit hours. We actually are trying to promote the certificate right now to bankers too, if they want to go back and just either enhance their knowledge or whatever it is. So the program is very open to wherever the student kind of decides to go for a career path. I think just even having just a little bit of knowledge in banking will help you down the road, whether you're going to work in a bank or not. And just working with a lot of staff there, they're all super helpful, super kind, and they're definitely really wanting their students to just be successful in whatever career path they go through. Our goal is definitely to grow. And I know right now we're trying to work on partnering with the ag department over there to kind of get the agribusiness majors in there as well, for the ag fields and banking. So that's kind of what the goal is right now. Our advisory council is currently, we're all working on our 1, 5, and 10-year goals. That is actually our next meeting. So kind of hoping for some bigger goals here coming up. And, but yeah, that's kind of what the goal is right now, is to just kind of keep growing the institute, growing the program, making it easy for students to get into the Banking Institute. I've been helping with all student recruitment so that we can grow those numbers in the next few years. But yeah, that's kind of the goal right now.
If I'm a high school student and I'm thinking about a career in banking, maybe I really don't know, is the certificate path the way to get started with the RBI?
So I mean, if you're kind of questioning if this is what you want to do or not, I definitely recommend at least starting with the certificate. The certificate does kind of lead into the minor and then the concentration if that's what you're wanting to do. The certificate is a very easy way to get started on that, and you'll learn real quick if you like it or not. Those are kind of more of your basic banking courses there. And I can't think off the top of my head what courses those are, but there is an online on our website that you can find those courses. Also, the other thing I forgot to mention is that you can take any of this online. So if you're a student and say you're at a college that doesn't offer banking, I'm pretty sure you can go online and register at Fort Hays, and you can start taking the certificate if that's something you feel like you need or want to do.
From the perspective of the board, you said you had, I think 1, 5, and 10-year goals. Where would you like to see the RBI in 5 years, just as board members individually? What would your goals be for the Institute 5 years from now?
I feel like my 5-year goal right now is just to get more butts and seats. That is the main priority right now, is to grow the institute. I should have wrote my numbers down, but I think as of right now there are about 63 currently enrolled in the institute. I think somewhere in the 60s, I believe. So we would like to get that number up more, especially in the next 5 years, because if we're starting to do student recruitment harder right now, that's going to pay off in 5 years.
Right now, is there a cap? So if all of a sudden 500 students wanted to be part of RBI, could you accommodate those 500 students, or is there an admissions process where they have to be accepted and there's a 250 student limit right now?
I do know that Fort Hays would be able to accommodate if that were to happen. We would have to hire more teachers or professors to teach. So I can't give you an exact answer, but they would make accommodations for that.
Okay. And Chris, how long have you been involved with the board?
I've actually, since it was first started, off the top of my head, I can't tell you what year that started, but I've been involved since the beginning when Alan Dinas was kind of the director. And it's been a great opportunity, from my perspective, as all industries today, we need more young people that want to get into banking. And as we've kind of talked about, if you have a desire to help in your community, be involved and help others, banking's a great career. And that doesn't mean you have to be a loan officer or teller. There's market, as I said, all the different avenues you can go through to do that. Rand, as she said, if we can get more students in those seats, I would love to see it where we have, and we've got a waiting list of people that want to get in the program. There's that much demand for it. And Rand does an outstanding job what she does. And I can guarantee if she has that challenge, she will find a way to get more students in. She's great at expanding and has a passion for the program and marketing that out to students. So.
Well, we would love to work with you on that. A lot of what we do with our students are certifications while they're in high school. And so while that's not available now, maybe there is a path to get there. One of the things that we are doing right now is working with the KBA and exposing career opportunities to our students. And that's been a very successful program. I think the community investment aspect of banks is what maybe a lot of students aren't aware of. And this partnership is one of those things that banks can do. But what are some of the other things that banks are doing in communities to continue to build their communities, enhance them, enrich the opportunities within a community? Rayanna, you've probably seen several. Chris, I know you've done some in your communities.
Well, I would say, we encourage all our employees, and that's not just the loan officers from that standpoint. Any employee that wants to get involved, we grant volunteer time. That's part of a benefit of being here, that if you want to go volunteer in your community, you get time off to do that, paid time off. But we want our employees to be involved, whether it be the schools, churches, or civic organizations, non-for-profits from that standpoint. If you want to say yes and get involved, there's help everywhere, and you can be as busy as you want to be, whether that be volunteering to be for Big Brothers Big Sisters, to serving on a council at the church, to helping out in your schools. Schools need help all the time from different resources, and it's just a great opportunity that you see how all these things function and make a community come together, kind of to be one and work together to make it a great place where you want to live and the community thrive from that standpoint. And we have a motto that if things are doing good and our community is growing, then the bank's doing well and growing from that standpoint.
That makes sense. Rayanna, and I know that you have not been with the KBA for a long time, but have you seen some examples of banks involved in their communities that maybe surprised you?
Yeah, I'll kind of just speak on kind of growing up about my hometown bank, which was Hartford State Bank, just kind of right at the town right outside Emporia. Pat Wiedeholt, he owns the bank there, and I just remember as a kid, they were always sponsoring everything. Like, you go to your athletic events, there's Hartford State Bank on it, and I didn't really realize the importance of it until I've gotten a little bit older. But your small towns need banks. They're so supporting of all your events, and they're always at everything. And I've known Pat a very long time, but I think that's just the coolest part about having banks in your small communities, even bigger communities too. So I feel that's kind of where I would have noticed more of that, was when I was a kid. Obviously, I know it today because I work in the industry now, but that's just kind of one example from when I was younger, that I just remember seeing Hartford State Bank everywhere, and they'd always be at your events, which I thought was really cool.
I grew up in Augusta, and every football game between the third and fourth quarters, the cheerleaders would throw out footballs, and it said Prairie State Bank. It was sponsored by the Prairie State Bank, and Newton Mail was the owner and president of Prairie State Bank for many years. He was the one that gave me my first 4-H loan, and just really supported our family. The bank was an important part of not only the community, but personally our family, in all of the ways they touched us in our community and our school. So just what you were talking about.
Yeah.
So it is an important relationship, but also a great opportunity to get involved with a team of people that are helping people achieve dreams. And it's critical that we have banks, and we've enjoyed our partnership with the KBA. One of the things that I wanted to talk about a little bit, didn't give you a heads up on this, Rayanna, but how does the KBA support bankers across the state?
Mean, there is so many different ways that KBA is supporting bankers. I'll kind of speak more on my role on like kind of how we support bankers. So just like on the marketing aspect, I mean, we're pushing advertising and stuff out there for different things that are going on. And I've even had some bankers call and ask about some marketing questions. So I'm there to answer those. And then like some of our videos that we put together, those are free to bankers to use I mean, market however they want. Like our code word campaign, which trying to explain it best I can, but code word was just like a way to like if somebody calls you and it's like a scam and you don't really know it, then there's a code word between you and your family about, hey, is this who this is? And it's a pretty cool video. I definitely recommend checking it out. I mean, we have lots of videos. That's another way how we kind of support bankers. And then just some of the other departments I'll just kind of quickly touch on, like our education department. We host like the Ag Bankers Conference and then our Women in Banking, and we have several conferences all year long that we put on for bankers to just get more learning opportunities to stay up to date with what's going on, which those are also super fun to attend because then you're also meeting more bankers around Kansas and just making those connections. And then we have our admin department, which is kind of just a little bit of everything, like our government relations team. We have our IT help, and then like just all sorts of things kind of fall under the admin wing. And then we have our legal department, and I don't know a whole lot about the legal side of that, but I know they go in and help with like prep banks for like audits and certain things like that. And then we also have our KBA insurance team, and that just helps with like banking insurance if they want to hop on to the KBA insurance, or if they just have questions there too. So I definitely feel like KBA tries to help in all aspects of banking. But that's just kind of just a quick overview of kind of what we help with. So
Chris, you were just recently, I believe, named to the board of the Federal Home Loan Bank. And I don't know if a lot of people understand what the Federal Home Loan Bank does. Can you just give us a brief description of what they do and why it's important?
Sure. Yeah, I was just started my term here in January for the Federal Home Loan Bank, and Federal Home Loan Bank is member owned, but their goal is to help members serve their communities through providing liquidity and also affordable. They give a lot back for affordable housing. So we have first time home buyer grants, community development grants, and things to give back to help local bankers get involved in their community from that standpoint. They're also it's member owned, which is really neat that we have to partner for us to provide the liquidity we need. So there we borrow from them and if we need money or advances that allows us to lend back to our communities.
Okay, and by we, you're talking about your bank.
My bank, yeah, but the Federal Home Loan Bank of Topeka serves Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Nebraska. So it's more of a regional. There are 11 of them across the country. The Topeka one serves that region.
I've heard it described, and maybe this isn't accurate, but I've heard it described as the banker's bank.
It would definitely be from that standpoint. As I said, it's a cooperative environment where it's member owned. And so they're giving back and helping us fund our liquidity needs. And in turn, they're giving back in affordable housing type grants, community development that money is kind of all circling back around. So it's kind of a neat thing where we get to borrow from them, gives us money to lend. They take some of the stuff that they get from us borrowing from them to turn around and give back into communities through first-time homebuyer grants or a community development grants. Just a neat circle of the way that continues to go and help our small communities thrive from that standpoint.
Right. Okay, well, we will close with these final two questions. In your career, what has been one of the most rewarding aspects of it, or maybe an event, and what has been the most challenging? And so, Rayanna, I'll start with you.
I would say probably the most rewarding. Let's see here. This is going to sound weird, but like I really enjoyed the student recruitment part of the Robbins Banking Institute. So I visited with 26 high schools last semester. And I learned so much I learned a lot from student recruitment from that aspect and talking with students. And it was so fun just to kind of get to hear like what they want to do. And I mean, everybody has a different dream. And I just thought that was, I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And I felt very like rewarded that I got to go and I got to go speak on these opportunities that they might be interested in down the road. I would say that's probably one of the most rewarding things so far, is just kind of getting to experience that. But I will say that's also one of the most challenging things for me as well. Sometimes students don't really want to open up and ask questions. So you got to find different ways on how to have them ask questions and kind of just want to be more into what you're talking about. I felt like that was kind of challenging at times for me, just trying to relate to like the high school level and everything like that and like what they're thinking. But yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the most rewarding and then also challenging at the same time.
Great. Well, we have 114 programs across the state, so we can help you with your recruitment efforts.
Yeah.
And maybe even this month, some of our students will hear about the RBI as they interact with bankers across the state. Chris, how about you?
Well, I think the most rewarding thing is I've had the opportunity. Somebody recently graduating has this dream, purchasing a home in a community and starting a small business, and to get to see that grow and thrive, them succeed, living out what they want to do to be successful. I can tell you, there's just nothing more rewarding than that, to watch that happen, and you're kind of getting a front side seat to that, to see that happen, and that is a very rewarding experience from that standpoint.
And any challenges, or has it been pretty smooth sailing?
I will say it's been pretty smooth sailing, but the one thing in our industry that can be challenging, and the KBA, that's a big role. There's this advocacy for banking. We are heavily regulated from that standpoint, and at times our customers just want what they want, need what but we've got regulations and things we've got to follow, and that can make it cumbersome. So it's that balance of, I believe regulation is important, but it's got to be the right regulation that doesn't impede what we're trying to do for our customers. So that was something, not being familiar with that as I came in the industry, is definitely makes banking different from that side and a challenge. And I'm really happy that we got an organization like KBA that's out there advocating for us and working on that side of it to be an advocate for the bankers on whether it be a federal or state level from a policy standpoint.
Well, we certainly appreciate the KBA and looking forward to another month for JAG-K with the KBA in April. And pardon me, look forward to a long and growing partnership with the KBA and look forward to talking more about the RBI and anything we can do to help our communities, help our students, and help our state. So thank you both for joining me today on Coffee with Chuck, and enjoy your coffee.
Thank you, and thanks for what JAG-K is doing to get students involved.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee with Chuck. We hope you'll follow our page and check out some of our other videos.